You know him from the Manitowoc Minute. You've seen him. You love him. Charle Berens.
Milwaukee. Thank you, Milwaukee. Thank you. Thank you all for coming out. I grew up with a thick Wisconsin accent, but I had no clue I had a Wisconsin accent until Siri first came out. Remember that? I was like, hey there, Siri, how in the heck are you? Hey, tell your folks I says hi. Listen, I'm looking for directions to the nearest Fleet Farm, okay? I think they got one over there by the Quick Trip, and honestly, I gotta fill my gas, okay? So why don't you get me directions to Fleet Farm, and then the Quick Trip, and if there's a Culver's in between there, I won't be mad, okay? And you know, there are a lot of other iPhone users out there, and I want you to know that I know that. So if you got to, go ahead and get to me last, okay? Boop! Dialing 911, you are having a stroke. So that was the first time I was like, okay, maybe I talk a little different. But I didn't know for sure I had a Wisconsin accent until I went to school for broadcast journalism. That's not the joke, that's the setup. I'm not sure why you're laughing. I had dreams back in the day. Back in the day, I wanted to be the next Brian Williams. Hold your applause for Brian Williams to the end of the show. Look, no, don't get me wrong. I'm talking Brian Williams back before he got caught lying about the whole helicopter situation in Iraq. You remember that? Where he's like, I got shot down in a helicopter in Iraq. But then the guy who actually got shot down in the helicopter in Iraq was like, the hell you did, Brian? And boom, he got canceled. Do you remember those days when you could get canceled just for lying? Those were the days. Now lying is just a prerequisite to become president. And I'm not sure if you're clapping for the president I'm thinking of, but the point is, they've all been liars. Now, some more than others, one more than all, but they've all been liars. Here's the real question. When are we, the people, gonna stop electing liars to the highest office in the land? When the Vikings win the Super Bowl. So anyways, I wanted to be the next Brian Williams, all right? I had this professor with one of those golden NPR voices. Who listens to NPR out there? Who's got glasses on? Okay, real good. You know what I'm talking about. From NPR News in Washington, I'm going to judge your sorry ass. Charlie, let's hear your anchor read.
Thank you.
In Menasha today, police pulled over a guy from Ashwaubenon for not stopping at the stop-and-go light. Police arrested the man for having weapons in his bag. Well, I'm glad you're laughing. He sure as hell was not. He was sitting there huffing and puffing. His face was puckering like he just found a fresh hemorrhoid, you know, and he was like, Charlie, has anybody ever told you that you have a voice for print? So I took his emotional abuse and I ended up getting a voice coach. Now here's the deal. You can find somebody to change the voice coming out of your mouth. It's possible. But you will never find anyone to change the voice inside your head. Jeepers cripes, folks, no way. I've been here the whole gosh darn time. Tell them the story about the time we went to the Apple store, in fact. I'm not going to tell them that story. It's a terrible story. It always bombs. I'm not going to do it. Fine, I'll tell them. So we go to the Apple store. And I belly up to the Apple Genius bar, and I'm looking around at these geniuses, and I says, Cripes, hey, Apple, if you're such geniuses, where in the hell is the beer in your bar? Where are your pull tabs? Can you even make an old-fashioned? Where are your pickled eggs? Where is Randy, who drove his lawn tractor here and is too hammered to drive it home? Sir, can we help you fix your iPad or no? Believe it or not, I did get a job in local news. I got a job in Dallas, Texas. Anyone from Texas here? Any Cowboys fans in the audience? You're a Cowboys fan. No, don't boo 'em, don't boo 'em. No. I think the Cowboys are one of the bravest teams in the NFL. They're the only team brave enough to make their logo their most common Yelp review. And that is just... It's a one-star joke. Low-hanging fruit, yum. Anyways, I get a job in Texas. You can take the kid out of Wisconsin, you can never take the Wisconsin out of the kid. Because if you're thirsty in Wisconsin, where do you go? The bar. Okay, I should have specified. Sorry, I forgot I'm in Milwaukee, okay? If you're thirsty for water, where do you go? The bubbler, and half of you are still saying the bar. Okay. No, you go to the bubbler, and I don't know who said water fountain. That is absolutely false. We do not go to the water fountain unless we need change for the meter. If we want water, we go to the bubbler. But here's the deal. Inside Wisconsin, a bubbler is a device used to drink water. But you go anywhere else, a bubbler is not a device used to drink water. No, a bubbler is a device you use to smoke the devil's lettuce. A lot of you are high right now. And actually, it don't look like this at all. It's more like... Yeah, I read an article about it on the internet. Cut to the 9 o'clock news in Dallas, Texas, which I am anchoring. Well, it's gonna be a hot one tomorrow. Make sure you stay inside and maybe find yourself a bubbler. Good night. So that's how I lost that job, and... But I don't think you can blame me. Can you really blame me? Because the states aren't even consistent on this issue, are they? No. You go to Texas, ask to use a bubbler, all you're going to get is a misdemeanor. Or you go to Colorado and ask to use a bubbler. You're not getting a misdemeanor. All you're getting is hungry. You know? Actually, that reminds me of the story. I was in Colorado recently. I was getting hungry with a friend of mine, and I says to him, I says, pull the brats out of the freezer and unthaw them. You would not believe what he had the audacity to say to me. He said, what are brats? What are brats? Have you not read the Bible? The Israelites walked through the desert for 40 years, and God took pity upon them, and he sent them down food from heaven. It was called manna. Manna means brats. They're like hot dogs, but better. Please just pull them out of the freezer and unthaw them. But if they're in the freezer, aren't they already unthawed? Guy, I am way too hungry for this conversation right now. Please just pull the brats out of the freezer and unthaw them. I think you mean you want them thawed, man. Yes, I want them thawed, man. But everyone knows to thaw them, you gotta unthaw them. And then we just stared at each other long enough for them brats to unthaw. Then we threw them on the grill and uncooked them. Thank you. Sorry, I'm drinking tea and whiskey. Hot toddy. I've had a little bit of a cough recently. You know, it's a weird time to have a little bit of a cough, you know? There were a few things that went away with the pandemic that I personally was okay with. You remember when handshakes went away? Now, I can tell I lost half the crowd there, okay? Don't worry, I like a good handshake. But there is this one guy who has decided to ruin handshakes for the rest of us. And it's the guy that just insists on squeezing the living crap out of your hand. You know, like he's trying to add inches to his bratwurst with his handshake. He suffers from TBS, that's tiny bratwurst syndrome, same thing Putin suffers from, you get it. Yeah, Putin's got a tiny pecker for sure. I mean, he's got a micro pecker, I tell you that. And no offense to anyone with a micro pecker, but you know that guy's got one, okay? No, but when they're squeezing the hell out of your hand, what do you want me to do at this point? You know, what are my options? I'm either sitting here like a floppy walleye, or I get into the web and match your strength. But what if I do that? What if I match his strength? And then our eyes make contact. And then I get nervous and my toe starts tapping like I'm an Idaho senator in a Minneapolis bathroom. Then what? That joke's from 2007. You're welcome. I'm like, okay, I get it. You found the squeezy things at the gym. I don't know where those are. What, are they in the same box with the bands, you know, that you use to work out your side ass? What's wrong, sir? You don't work out your side ass? I used to work out my side ass all the time. Back when I was an exotic dancer at Northern Exposure. Yeah, my stripper name back then was Ratchet Strap. They'd slap me on the ass and say, that's not going anywhere. Some of you aren't sure if I was actually a stripper back in the day. Prove it. Actually, I used to do polka, so if someone can give me a good polka, I can really show some nips to polka. I tell you that right now. All right, I see the judgmental faces out there. I see the judgmental faces, but I ask you this. Milwaukee, who are you to judge? Huh? How many of you have said, screwed the pooch? Oh, I know there are more of you than that. It's one of the most common Midwest phrases. I screwed the pooch. Here's what I want to know. Who was the first guy to walk into a room and say, I screwed the pooch? Forget about that guy for a second. Who was his mom? Who was hosting a dinner party at the time, I'd assume. I had all her friends over there. Son comes in, I screwed the pooch. Kids these days, they say the darndest things, don't they? The dab, you know, and the wop, and screwed the pooch. It just means he made a mistake. That's all it means, very innocent. He made a mistake. Todd, where the hell is Baxter? Anyways, I got a little off track. Let's go back to when I got fired from my job. So after I lost that job in Texas, I moved out to Los Angeles, and I decided to become a red carpet reporter. Now, I was a bad red carpet reporter, in all honesty, and it's really not my fault. I have this disease called facial agnosia. No, it's not funny. It's very serious. What it means is I have a hard time telling the difference between faces because I didn't do any research before the red carpet. But I tell you what I did notice on the red carpet. Everyone in Los Angeles gets plastic surgery. That's what I noticed. I was like, why does everyone in LA get plastic surgery, but in the Midwest, not so much? And then it hit me. It's the seasons. In LA, it's 75 and sunny every single day. And when it's summer every single day, you want to live forever. So you get the Botox and the fillers and the whatnots and your hoo-has and the calf jobs. Meanwhile, in the Midwest, we got the seasons, so we're not getting plastic surgery. No, we're saying, you know, honestly, hon, I hope I'm dead before February. No, it's tough being a Midwest guy in LA. It was tough. I was always holding doors for people who didn't want them held for you. You know, I held the elevator even. I was that guy, you know, making it awkward. I'd pick up names people were dropping all the time, you know, like, there's your Tom Hanks, sir. By the way, my dad knows Tom, too. Tom the taxidermist over there in Ashwaubenon, he's a real good guy, you know. I was walking down the street waving to everybody. They were like, I thought Jeffrey Dahmer died, you know? And okay, that cannot be what you laugh the hardest at in this special, please. Can we edit out the laughs for that joke? That would be nice. But to keep my sanity, I ended up doing stand-up at night. And I developed this character who, instead of taking all the things that people said I was doing wrong in local news and fixing them, which I did, and I still got fired, I took all the things people said I was doing wrong and I doubled down on them. And that is where the Manitowoc Minute character came from. Thank you. But it wasn't called the Manitowoc Minute yet. That happened when I was doing a bringer show at the Comedy Store in LA. And a bringer show is where you bring all these comedians together who can't sell tickets, and they're like, invite your friends, invite your friends. And I not only invited my friends, I bought tickets, and I gave them away to my friends. And they still didn't show up. But all the other comedians had friends that loved them, and they showed up. And I said to this packed house at the Comedy Store in LA, I said, is anyone from the Midwest? And a bunch of people raised their hands. And then I said, is anyone from Wisconsin? And one guy had his hand up. I says, where are you from, sir? He goes, I'm from Manitowoc. Okay, how do you like LA? He goes, honestly, the old-fashioned suck eggs. You are from Manitowoc, sir. And that was the guy I named the Manitowoc Minute after. Speaking of the Manitowoc Minute, welcome to the Manitowoc Minute, the most trusted news show in all of the Midwest. This week's episode is sponsored by the Valparaiso Vasectomy Clinic over there in Indiana. They got a special going right now. Get one side done, the other side's a freebie. In office, no scalpel, no. They're just using the hacksaw they borrowed from Carl's truck and trailer repair. This week's episode is also brought to you by the Keg and Kettle Bar and Grill. If anyone found a tooth at the Keg and Kettle tonight between midnight and closing, please message or call the bar. Now, I don't want to get political here, but this is why you always wear your mask to a bar. That way your chiclets will never fall far from your beer hole. Okie dokes, let's get these headlines done real quick once. Hudson Mayor suggests ice fishing could lead to prostitution. Some of you are skeptical, but no, I got video evidence of this.
Additionally, if you open this up to ice fishing, while on the surface it sounds good,
sure do.
Then what happens next year? Does someone come back and say, I want an ice shanty?
Oh, yeah.
On Hudson Springs Park for X amount of time?
Yeah.
And if you then allow ice fishing with shanties,
Catch more fish.
then that leads to another problem.
Walleye depletion.
Prostitution.
Huh?
Now you've got the police chief and the police department involved.
Guy, what kind of bait are you using?
Just data points to consider.
Yeah, no.
But there's been a development in the story, ladies and gentlemen. Ohio mayor quits after going viral for saying ice fishing leads to prostitution. He's done so. In other mayor news, Hartford mayor faces opposition after fumbling gun at meeting.
Mayor Tim Mahalik handgun slips from his pants with a thud. The gun is seen dropping here in slow motion and highlighted before Mahalik quickly picks it up.
Always dropping things.
Whoa. Always dropping things? I'm sorry, but that is what you say after you drop your iPhone 11, not your Smith & Wesson, okay? Now, somehow, he won re-election. This guy don't know how to conceal or carry, but he won re-election. And this wasn't the first time he fumbled his gun either. That video came to light after he fumbled it again inside a sheriff's department or something like that. I'm like, geez Louise, where did you get your concealed carry? The Chicago Bears? What's going on? Oh, yeah. Do I got any Bears fans in the audience right there? You know, I know. Oh, don't boo them. Don't boo them. Your losses are our joy, and I thank you for being here tonight. I do. Let's keep her moving. South Milwaukee homes sold with 4 toilets right next to each other. That's called a number 2x4. Where's the beef? Cow spotted at McDonald's drive-thru. This guy then took his aquarium to a fish fry. Kohl's says it's no longer a department store. Now, folks, this is actually very problematic for me. I didn't read the article. I don't know the details, but this is not good because for the past 10 years, when a bunch of yous have been investing in Bitcoin, I myself have been doubling down on a different currency, Kohl's Cash, and I am very concerned about my investment portfolio. Let's keep her moving. Police respond to Marshfield woman acting like a deer. What was she doing? She was running out into traffic just looking at Corollas. Speaking of deer, Walmart employee tackles deer. Now, if you want to get a job at a Walmart anywhere other than the Midwest, it's a pretty simple and standard application process. They want to know, are you a people person? Are you good at counting money? You get your ass over to Baraboo, all they want to know is, hey, when was the last time you mounted a doe? Let's see the 4-point stance. Frank, we got to keep her. I tell you that right now. Jeez Louise, Tiff, you're hired. Let's keep her moving. Other deer news. Herd up. Oshkosh bar damaged after herd of deer scatters on patio, crashes through window, but at least the happy hour's a buck off, you know? Let's keep her moving. Wisconsin dairy breaks own record for longest string cheese. And if you think that's impressive, the next week they broke the record for longest time without a bowel movement. Let's keep her moving. Arcadia raccoon is in the middle of the road. It appears he has been hit. Caller gave the raccoon a cheese curd and is on the shoulder of the road with the animal. Sometimes we get so Midwest nice, we also get rabies. And that's just the way it goes, folks. So let's keep her moving. Oh, this is a doozy. Barron County Sheriff's Department. Everyone notice the date. October 23rd. The ice is not ready yet. And before you ask, yes, alcohol was a factor. Speaking of alcohol, Budweiser declares itself the official beer of up north. 2 words to that. Yeah, no. Let's keep her moving. Big Jake, the world's tallest horse, dies in Wisconsin. Oh, and I can tell by that response, you're not gonna like this next joke, but if you want to visit Big Jake's memorial, all you gotta do is go to the glue aisle at your nearest Fleet Farm. Told you wouldn't like it. Let's keep her moving. Wild turkey flies through UW Eau Claire window. Now, this is the first time in recorded history a wild turkey has flown into a UW Eau Claire window. Usually them suckers is flying out and that bottle is empty. And it is time now for the Craigslist kicker. This is where I find the most amazing things in all the Midwest listed on Craigslist, ready to be scooped up, and today is no exception. We got a Packers Davenport, $50, Green Bay, best seats in the house. Smells like beers, hence the price, no low balls. Well, folks, I hope this was the best minute of your life. As always, go Packers, and God bless you all. Now, I did my first Manitowoc Minute back in 2017, and I did it not expecting to do a second one. But all of you liked it, and you shared it, and there were so many good views on it. I was like, well, geez, Louise, I got to do another. And I want to thank all of you for being the reason I'm up here today. So thank you all so much. Thank you so much. And I also want to give a special thanks to the great city of Manitowoc, Wisconsin, because without their support, I would not have this at all. I'm not from Manitowoc, but they've embraced it, and they've embraced me, and I love them so much. And I don't know why they embraced it, you know, the way they did. I think it might have something to do with, like, in 2016, when you Googled Manitowoc, the only thing that popped up was making a murderer, and that's not fair to that great city. And I think the city collectively was like, God, please send us a hero. And then there was me. Hey there, folks. Welcome to the Manitowoc Minute. And Manitowoc was like, God, you've got a cruel sense of humor, but we'll take it. Okay. And since then, I've been trying to spread the wisdom of the Midwest throughout the land. And that, yes, there's so much wisdom here. And that wisdom ends with the Midwest goodbye. How many of you have experienced the Midwest goodbye? Show of hands. Keep those hands up if you've experienced the Midwest goodbye lasting more than 4 hours and you had to call a medical professional. Now, there are several steps to a proper Midwest goodbye. Everybody knows the first step. You slap your knee and say, well, I suppose. But you're not leaving. You're going to be offered a beer and given the tour. And you might as well go on the tour because you're not going anywhere else. A Midwest home tour goes something like this. Yeah, here's the house. Let's go check out the garage, huh? So this is a snowblower I got over there at the Fleet Farm, out of season sale, 30% off. You should see the snow shoot out of this sucker. It's 20 foot on the snow launch on this. Jeez Louise. You're like, Joe, why are we looking at your snowblower? It's July. Get back into the house where you will be offered the leftovers. And I know, the casserole was so bad, you had to put it plate face down in the garbage. But you must accept the leftovers. I mean, you can try and say, oh no, I'm fine. But they are gonna trump your I'm fine with a, no, I insist. And then you're gonna be like, well, I can't trump that. So you get the leftovers. Then they waddle over to the cupboards and they pull out their Tupperware, which is just a used Cool Whip container. Plop the casserole in there. At this point, you need to find your coat and put it on. And I don't care how hot you get, do not take that coat off. You may never put it on again. If it's summer, find one of their coats. They'll get the picture. Then, you gotta walk over to the doorknob and twist it to leave. I don't know what it is about a doorknob in the Midwest, but as soon as you twist it to leave, that is when the deepest, darkest secrets come out. Oh, you're leaving, huh? Well, before you go, I just want to ask you, have you ever wondered why your brother looks a lot like your uncle? No, but where the hell was this story 4 hours ago when I says, well, I suppose. Twist the doorknob, get out of the house, get into your car, and whatever you do, do not roll your window down. Because they will get into your car like it's a reverse drive-through. But they are not offering you a Culver's Butterburger. No, they are giving you mechanical advice on your automobile, and they are a carpenter by trade. Yeah, I see your tire pressure's a little low. Why don't you roll her on into the garage? Do not roll her on into the garage. Because you know what's in the garage aside for the snowblower? The deer freezer. Yeah, I got some extra deer at the meat raffle. This is 2016. Should still be good. It's not still good. Then they're gonna dig to the bottom and find, well, if you're not gonna take that, just take this freezer burnt perch. No, you're not fine. Honestly, you gotta take it before the DNR comes and I'm in deep shoot, okay? Put the car in reverse, but as soon as you do, they're gonna wanna offer you directions. I know. You know how to get home. You know how to get home, even if you didn't. You got a phone that tells you exactly how to get home. Put it in reverse, start backing out. But don't be surprised when this happens. Yeah, so what you're gonna wanna do is get out to County Highway B. Now, if you get to the church with the bar in it, you're heading on the right track. If you get to the bar with the church in it, well, you screwed the pooch, okay? Roll over their foot, it is collateral damage. And whatever you do, do not forget those leftovers. Otherwise, you're gonna have to come back and start all over with, well, I suppose. But now you're driving in the Midwest. And that's when the fun just begins, because you're about to encounter a four-way stop. I know. Now, a four-way stop anywhere other than the Midwest, it's pretty standard, right? You get up first, you go first. Not in the Midwest. Not in the Midwest. You get up first, then you put her into park and wait for another car to come by so you can take pleasure in waving them past. And if they wave back at you, they're from Minnesota. If they wave back again, they're from Iowa. So you wave them past. If they blow right through the stop sign, they're from Chicago. To hell with them. Wave them past a third time. Now, if they wave back at you a third time, they are from Wisconsin. And I hope you have the rest of your night blocked off. Because it's just going to be an entire series of wave, brake, gas, wave, brake, gas, wave, brake, gas, wave, brake, gas, People have run out of gas at intersections doing this. What this looks like is basically, it's like a car mating ritual, really. The cars just slowly inch closer together. You got a pickup truck slowly inching toward a sedan. You're like, yeah, in 9 months, there'll be an El Camino right in the middle of this intersection. So you get through the four-way stop by some miracle. Well, you're not out of the woods yet, no, because you are on the road still, and you're about to encounter a roundabout. Who decided a roundabout was a good thing for Midwesterners? We can't handle roundabouts. All those yield signs, no. We cannot handle more yield. As a Midwesterner, we are always yielding. We were born with yield signs tattooed to our souls. When I was born, it took me 14 hours to get out the womb, and my mom was like, why did it take so long? Well, Mom, I was just busy waving past all the people in hospital gowns. Nope, after you. I insist, after you. Dad, is that you? Jeez Louise, you look a lot different than you did 9 months ago. You got hair now. And 2 eyes. How's about it? My mom's gonna hate that joke. We're always yielding. I mean, tonight you're gonna yield, even when you do something as simple as go out those double doors back there. I guarantee you this is what's gonna happen. One of you is gonna open one of them double doors for someone else to go through. Meanwhile, that person there holding that door to go through is holding the other door for that person who's holding that door to go through, and they're gonna be like, oh, geez Louise, I gotta go through the door they're holding open for me, otherwise I'm going to purgatory. And if you don't know what purgatory is, it's that place between heaven and hell, you know, Peoria. Okay. And for the roundabouts, if you look at a bird's eye view of a roundabout in the Midwest, it's just 4 lanes, and each lane is just stalled because the people at the top of the line are just saying, oh, nope, I insist, after you. Geez Louise, after you. Would you like some rhubarb from my garden or no? And in the middle, it's just a bunch of people from Illinois going, how in the hell do I get to Door County? I was teaching my sister how to do these roundabouts recently because she was getting her temps. And when you're getting your temps, you need a responsible adult in the front seat. And that was me. I was sitting there, you know, and I was on my phone because I don't care. And she started freaking out, though. She's like, Charlie, what do I do? I look up. She's heading toward a roundabout. I says, I don't know, honestly. What do you mean you don't know? Ellie, it's a roundabout. Nobody knows. I took my phone. I put on Carrie Underwood, Jesus, Take the Wheel. I says, give me your hand. Let's pray together. She floors it, goes right over the roundabout, airborne Blues Brothers style. Jesus, take the wheel. On her descent, she kills 2 deers. Airbags deploy. I'm like, hey, you got the airbags out. You passed. Big. That's an interesting word in the Midwest, isn't it? We haven't quite figured out how to say that. Big. It took me until I was 18 years old to figure out the phrase beggars can't be choosers wasn't about the guy putting my groceries away. How many of you have a bag of bags underneath your sink right now? Good. And I don't trust a damn soul that doesn't have your hand up. How am I supposed to trust you if you are not adequately prepared for the great bag shortage of 2045? What do we do with all those bags? Leftovers, dog poop, cat poop. It's like a Midwest symphony, you know? We put them in our bathroom garbage cans. It's the perfect liner. We use them to winterize our socks when our boots got holes in them. That's why they call them Piggly Wiggly. Keeps your little piggies warm. But I think inherently we're saving all these bags because in the Midwest, you know, we're just being environmental. Good, chuckles and silence for the environment. That's what we're... No, I'm not trying to be a hippie about this, okay? But saying you're being environmental, that's something the right and the left can agree on. You know? It is. Because we have one planet, that's all of our home. So saying you're being environmental it's just like saying, yeah, you know, honestly, I'm trying not to crap in the sink these days. Speaking of which, I was in Chicago recently, and I walked into one of those coffee shops that had a $9 latte on the menu. I was like, a $9 latte? Are you kidding me? I walk up to the barista. I says, what is going on with the $9 latte? And she goes, oh, it has CBD in it. I said, so does it get you high? And she goes, oh, no. Well, then why is it $9? Sir, CBD helps with your anxiety. Lady, I'm in a coffee shop right now. I am here for the anxiety. What do you have that's cheaper than $9? Well, our pour-over coffee is $5. How much is your rail coffee? I would like your Fleischmann's of coffee, please. And she goes, sorry, sir, our pour-over is as cheap as it gets. And honestly, I got the pour-over. And I'm happy I did, because I was watching this barista make the pour-over. And she had the beaker, and she had the filter, and the hot water. I was like, wow, this looks like a science project. This woman knows how to make a great cup of coffee. And possibly meth. I don't know, but I'm glad I'm getting it. And here's where the environmental part comes in. I tell her no top, because the tops are made of plastic. And I've seen that YouTube video of that sea turtle who got a straw stuck in its nose. I figure the last thing a sea turtle needs that's getting a straw extracted from its nose is a top hat. That used to be the top of my coffee cup. And if you're having a hard time following this joke, well, this is exactly why you don't drop your infants. So anyways, I take my topless coffee cup over to my desk, and I'm composing a tweet about how environmental I'm being. Because everyone knows you're not environmental unless you tweet about it. And I got a good one going, and then I accidentally kick the table with my leg, and my topless coffee cup goes all over my computer and completely fries it. I know. What I'm telling you is my effort to prevent a sea turtle from getting a straw pulled out of its schnoz, from wearing a top hat that used to be the top of my coffee cup. I end up strip mining half of China to get the rare earth minerals to make a new damn laptop. Being environmental's hard, that's the bottom line. Switching gears, I myself am one of 12 kids. Yeah, I'm mass-produced. That's Andy, Charlie, Billy, Betsy, Maggie, Eddie, Mary Kate, John, Emily, Norbert, Janelle, Frank. Wow, I know. Thank you. Guys, 12 kids is so many kids. I just said 13 names, and you gave me a golf clap. That's so many kids. Now, when you're one of 12, people always have the same questions. It's like, are you Catholic? Are you Mormon? Are you homeschooled? Yes, all three, actually. I'm kidding, I wasn't homeschooled. No, if I'm being honest, I was born Catholic, but then I was raised guilty. So, where are my guilty Catholics at? Where are my guilty Catholics? Oh, come on, front row Catholics? That's not how this is supposed to work. You're supposed to be in the back of the room waiting for the guy on stage to hand out bread, and then you get the hell out of here 20 minutes early. Here's how you can tell a guilty Catholic in the wild. They will hold the door for you when you are an awkward distance away. You know, the guy inside will be yelling at him, hey, come on, shut the door, we got the heat on. Hey, relax, okay? I'm letting the Holy Spirit in, all right? And you can tell another guilty Catholic because they will race to that door you're holding open for them. You're gonna hear their corduroys, and they always wear corduroys for some reason. You hear their corduroys go from to strap a V8 to those thighs. Now, I was holding the door for somebody recently, and I kid you not, they slowed down. And I says, Lutheran, not happening. Where are my Lutherans? Okay, I love you. I love you. I want you to know I love you. I'm just not going to hold the door open for you, because for all I know, you're going to get up to that door and nail another 95 theses to it, and I can't handle that. We weren't the most well-behaved kids, and that's a problem. There were 12 of us. Quick story about that. I was going pheasant hunting with me and my dad and my brothers. Any pheasant hunters out there tonight? Yeah, the sirloin of the sky. And we went out with our dog Murphy. Now, Murphy was an English setter. So he had funny teeth, barked with an accent. It's an inbred joke. And how inbred was he? Murphy was so inbred, he tried milking his uncle at 6 weeks old. He almost didn't make it to 7 weeks. His uncle nipped at him and cut him, and they called my parents. They were like, will you rescue him? And my folks were like, yes, we will rescue him, except he rescued us, you know. But we were left with a subpar inbred bird dog. And we would go out pheasant hunting, and here's how a normal bird dog is supposed to work. A pointer is supposed to point at the birds, and then you shoot the birds. But Murphy was so inbred, we would have to shoot the birds for him to point at them. We go out pheasant hunting, we get one bird, because Murphy sucks eggs, okay? And my dad is a big gun safety guy, so he says, everybody unload your guns and put your safeties on. And everybody unloaded their guns and put their safeties on. And by everybody, I mean everybody except my brother Andy, who locked and loaded his 12-gauge shotgun, had the safety off, and put it in the back of the minivan. I know, I was one pothole away from telling this story to St. Peter. How do you think I felt? By the way, this is why you don't paint your kids' nurseries with lead paint. Because they will lick the walls and say, the snozberries taste like snozberries, Mom. And then they'll put a locked and loaded gun in the back of your minivan 20 years later. So we get home safely, thankfully, and my dad says, unload the car. And Andy grabs the bird, Billy grabs the jackets, I pull out the guns, and yeah, one goes off. It's Andy's. Turns the shotgun seat into an actual shotgun seat. My dad comes storming out of the house. I've never seen him this pissed. He's like, what in the hell happened? Murphy's just sitting there pointing at the shotgun seat. No bird, Murph. And my dad was so mad. He said, you just bought yourself a minivan. And I was like, but Dad, it was Andy. Except I was literally holding a smoking gun. And the worst part is he sold it to me at the Kelley Blue Book level marked excellent. Yeah, apparently there was no box to check for has minor shotgun blast on the interior. We weren't the most well-behaved kids. When we were young, we used to go to church every single Sunday. And the nice part about being second oldest of 12, 2 of 12, 1 of 6 if you simplify the fraction, is that all the younger kids bring their toys and their coloring books to church. And so as an older kid, I got to play with all those toys. And I remember this one Sunday, my sister brought a Barbie coloring book. And I was sitting in the pew, minding my own business, just trying to stay in the lines, you know. And my mom was getting so mad at me because allegedly I was spending just way too much time on the boob area. And she pulled it out of my hands and she said, give me that, take this. She handed me a Bible. And that was her worst mistake. Because you know what I did? I turned to my favorite Bible passage of all time. And that is Luke chapter 22, verse 36, which reads, if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. This is a direct quote from Jesus Christ talking to his disciples. If you don't have a sword, Sell your cloak and buy one. And to an 8-year-old boy, this is amazing news, because there is only one thing cooler to an 8-year-old boy than Barbie boobs, and that is swords, ladies and gentlemen. You should have seen me coming out of that church. I says, Mom, I need a sword. She said, I need a sword. Mom, I need a sword. She said, I need a sword. She converted to Judaism by the time she got to the minivan. Then I'm in the back of the car. I'm like, Mom, I need a sword. She said, I need a sword. Mom, I need a sword. She said, I need a sword. You're not getting a sword. But Mom, Jesus said, so. Well, Jesus wasn't your mother. But God is my father, so. Eventually, she let me get a pocket knife. But I've always thought about this passage in the Bible, because recently I was at this Packers game, and there were all these protesters outside the Packers game, and they had these signs, and it says, if you're a Muslim, you're going to hell. If you're gay, you're going to hell. If you're Jewish, you're going to hell. If you've had an abortion, you're going to hell. If you're a Catholic, you're going to hell. If you're a drunk, you're going to hell. Well, now it just got personal, bucko. So I walk up to this guy, and I've had a few, okay? And I says, do you have a sword, sir? He's like, no, I don't have a sword. What are you talking about? I says, well, what are you talking about? Because Jesus never said nothing about being Muslim. And Jesus never said nothing about being gay. But he was very specific. If you don't have a sword, you sell your cloak and buy one. And that is a very nice winter cloak you're wearing right now. And that's how I got this scar above my eye. No, we weren't the most well-behaved kids, and there were 12 of us. But that's okay, because as a Catholic, you learn that God doesn't give you anything you can't handle. God doesn't give you anything you can't handle. Amen. But then again, God only had one kid, okay? And it's true. It's in the Bible. And I hope this doesn't offend anybody, okay? But I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that Jesus Christ, pretty easy kid to raise, right? I don't think Jesus ever went to the principal's office for punching Brad Dillard in the dick, you know? Don't think it happened. Brad's fine. He's had 2 kids. They're uglier than hell. Should have punched harder. No, Jesus was an amazing child. He was. One time, he turned water into wine just because his mom asked him to. It was the wedding of Cana. You know the Bible story. Mary was on the dance floor, living her best life. Her favorite song was on, Come On, Eileen. Bon, dun, 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 dun. And then her best friend, Teresa, comes over, taps her on the shoulder, and is like, Mary, hun, they're running low on wine. And Mary's like, what? Yeah, they only have 2 skins left. I'm sorry, that's a hilarious joke, Milwaukee. Will you read your damn Bibles, please? Gentiles, geez Louise. And Mary's like, wait, my son Jesus has been talking about these miracles he can do. What if, oh Jesus, mommy's glass is getting low. What if we turned all that water over there into, I'm thinking a fine Merlot. And Jesus is like, Mom, seriously, you want me to turn water into wine as my first miracle? What are people gonna think 2,000 years from now? Why don't I just turn that wheat field into marijuana while I'm at it? Apparently would have got more followers in Milwaukee, but Mary was not having the back talk. Oh no, she was like, Jesus Christ! 2 names, you know he's in trouble. Don't make me call your father. She's like, don't call Dad, don't call Dad. I will do it, okay, I will do it. But I'm driving the donkey home. And there won't be any back-ass driving this time, Mom. And boom, he did it. He turned water into wine just because his mom asked him to. The closest I ever came to that is this one time I turned my mom's full bottle of wine into half a bottle of wine. But then I turned it back into a full bottle of wine just by adding water. And that was my first miracle, Milwaukee. Thank you all for coming out. Keep her moving. Watch out for deers. And as always, go Packers. And God bless you all. Oh, you're so kind. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I suppose, geez Louise, who wants the home tour? Is this gonna turn into a Midwest goodbye? I think it is. And it is time now for the Craigslist kicker. Got a Packers Davenport. Smells like beers, hence the price. No low balls. We got a duck telephone. Use this to call your hens. Use it as an urn or flask. Your call. Leather badger jacket. My cousin's great uncle died in this. Who in their right mind would go buy this sucker? It smells like an untimely death. Yeah, how you doing? We're gonna auction it off right now, and all the proceeds are going to the Near West Side here in Milwaukee, go to the Boys and Girls Club of Milwaukee, the Wisconsin Ukrainians, of CVI, that Center for Veterans Issues. Who wants this sucker? $25, $70, $70. Wow, you just outbid yourself. I appreciate you for doing. That's the most Midwest nice thing I ever seen. $700. $150. What are we doing? Playing the Price is Right? Do you not get the game? No, I'll take credit card. In fact, I take cash, check, credit card, first child, okay, whatever you want. Don't come at me with the second child, though. I know they're worthless. It's technically a federal offense to do an auction without an auctioneer's license, but you know, these days you gotta offend someone. 500 right back there, and I will match it. 1,700. I don't know what you've been drinking today, but it's working for you. You know, they should really serve more booze in church. They get more money. 5,000? Oh, jeez Louise. I'm gonna have to take a second job at the taxidermist. Sold $10.50 right there. Sold $2,000. Sold $10,000. Sir, where do you work? Could I get a job at your organization? I'm gonna need it. Sold $1,400. Come on up here. Oh, you're just gonna stay right there. That's good. Here, I'll throw this to you. Pass it back. Holy smokes, that's what you get for selling old fashions at your show.